Hi, Dixie. It's Allison. I am just looking over your um, ad that you emailed over to me. So that's super funny because I saw this ad down there and I thought one of your fellow students had maybe done it as a suggestion for ideas. Um, you're right. This one is a lot better. I'm glad you were thinking along the right track and just hadn't posted it in the right place. One thing I would recommend is your plate is looking pretty rough along the top here, so be sure to go in there and clean it up a bit more with the selection tool. It looks good down here. It's just along the top. It has a really rough edge. Looks like it would, the porcelain would cut you if this was a real plate. I think your apple looks really great. It's definitely matching with the ad and along the right track. So you should be proud of that. And then let's move over to your slides here. I know you said you felt like you were all over the place. I think, let's see what you said about your slides. Going around in circles. Looks right. The logo touching the banner or not, the banner centered or not. Yeah, definitely not touching. They don't really go together enough for them to be touching. A logo is one thing, and then this is your campaign title. So they don't go together, so don't make them touch for sure. Okay? Let's see this one. A little bit better. The placement is honestly a little weird for both of them. I would lean toward right aligning this probably, and then maybe left aligning this, or if you want to keep it center aligned within this left box, you could do that as well. I think the left alignment I think the center alignment is a little bit of a problem though, honestly. I think it'll look better if you left align it. You can leave a good chunk of space, so left alignment doesn't mean it has to be up against this edge. So, leave a good chunk of space and then have a nice strong left alignment. You could pop this Lego logo right underneath it. Throw in a contrasting typography. If you could find one that is similar to this pure brain food, that would look good. Or you may be able to find the Lego font. DaFont has a lot of fonts that might kind of mimic it. If you can't find that one exactly, and you could do that for a contrasting typeface up here. I'd also recommend to get rid of your strokes. Okay, so strokes were used a lot in the 90s. They instantly kind of date most designs. Sometimes you can get away with it, but generally if you want a clean, crisp, modern look, I'd recommend getting rid of these black strokes. Especially if you notice you have 3 different stroke widths here. This one's the smallest, then bigger, then biggest, and it's just detracting too much from the other elements on the page, which is what you really want to look at. So I would bump this kind of page description title over here to the right and right align it, or pull it up here and left align it here, the blue on the green. And I would move this. So see how you have new ad? It's centered in the box, which is fine. You can leave that. But it is up higher on the horizontal line of this. It's off kilter a little bit too high. So I would make sure it's centered from a top to bottom perspective as well. Because see how how small this is compared to how big this is. So it gives a feeling of being off kilter a little bit. Okay, so play around with some of those changes. If you really love it centered over here, you might be able to make it work, but it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to have it come across looking good with having it be center aligned, okay? And then this is a good introduction page. I think once you have this pulled over and possibly this pulled over to the left and the strokes gone, it's gonna look even better, okay? I would actually recommend doing a full bleed on these. There's no need to have this white space interrupted when you could have the white space just flow off the page, right? So I'd recommend instead of having this box abruptly end and the white behind it, pull this green box off the edge of the page, give yourself a full bleed, and then I think it's gonna make it a lot easier on you to have a nice, clean, crisp design. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out, Dixie. I hope you have a good night. Bye.